for me, the squeeze that we're seeing doesn't feel ordinary. It doesn't feel run of the mill. 54% hikes in things like energy bills in 1 year is absolutely extraordinary, which is why I can't see a way in which the government doesn't intervene, in which the Chancellor doesn't do much. It is extraordinary times. I think it requires an extraordinary response. And I think for me, there is short-term mitigating action that the Chancellor should be taking. I think one of the quickest way you do that is to increase universal credit. And I think there's a kind of painful, bitter irony that if the Chancellor hadn't made the decision to cut that £20 uplift to universal credit back in the autumn, the £1,000 would have helped mitigate some of the rising prices that we're seeing. I think he's also actually got to act on the energy side, and there are things that he can do both to soften the increase in energy prices that we're seeing, and I'm throwing a windfall tax on energy producers there, as well as big measures on energy efficiency just to reduce the amount of energy that we use. We are now facing the spectre of 20 years in which living standards are not going to budge. And I think will require quite a focused and targeted response. And the sorts of things I'd like to see is, I do think we need to move to a world where the national living wage actually reflects the true cost of living, so that we don't have this nonsense of a real living wage that tries to do that, and a national living wage which is in fact the minimum wage. I'd like to see that aligned with what we call living income, a safety net within our social security system for both people in work and out of work that ensures that people can afford the basics, which would then allow people to engage in the labour market on stronger terms that again will have a rebound effect on wages. The sort of thing that we're seeing, it is not a one-off. 20 years I go back to in which living standards haven't budged. We've got a genuine structural problem with our economy, and I think the government needs to both respond to the here and now, but start thinking about the long term.